này nó vẫn được, nhưng mà mình phải cần thêm cái generic type này nữa, nên mình sẽ lấy proper count. Cái này mình sử dụng in end to end nào, mình sử dụng in end to end nào. Cái này nó sẽ bỏ qua. Rồi sau đó là mình sẽ ờ, mình sẽ mình sẽ có một cái hàm liên quan tới set sender và set balance. Cái này hàm hỗ trợ set sender để mình có nghĩa là ai là người thực hiện cái transaction đấy ấy, là cái phần liên quan tới deposit ấy, và liên quan tới set balance. Đây, rồi sau đó mình sẽ viết hàm tiếp theo là mình sẽ set balance cho mình sẽ set balance cho Alex là 100. Rồi sau đó thì khi mình deploy, để mình check cái đoạn là deploy contract set sender. Ok, rồi sau đó là mình sẽ có cái collect này rồi đúng không? Nên mình sẽ viết một cái hàm liên quan tới pay with con để mình deposit. Ở đây là mình sẽ đó chính là collect đây, collect, rồi mình sẽ xóa này là đó chính là deposit. Đây thì mình sẽ bỏ ở đây là mút. Rồi khi deposit xong thì có nghĩa là mình sẽ thực hiện là before của nó là 100 đúng không? Thì mình sẽ viết lấy một cái hàm là chính là sau khi deploy xong. Rồi ok, có nghĩa là bỏ vào smart contract chưa, rồi sau đó rồi mình sẽ thực hiện get. Sau khi deposit mình chạy thử deposit nó có work không. Ok, nhưng khi mà chạy xong thì mình phải check là cái balance của cái smart contract này, balance gọi là cái smart contract này là nó sẽ có ra 30 hay không. Thì ở đây là mình sẽ có một cái hàm phụ là đó chính là hàm contract ID. Đây mình có tìm thấy được một hàm contract ID, và mình có thể test cái gọi là contract new balance của nó có change hay không. Thì mình sẽ đây mình sẽ contract new balance, đây mình sẽ check đây contract new balance này, get balance của thằng contract ID này đây, và con L đó là chính là Alex. Và mình set là con L thì cao của Alex. Rồi cái get balance này á, là mình sẽ lấy có một cái hàm hỗ trợ cho mình là cái get balance này. Mình ý là mình thấy cái phần việc test này nó cũng hơi phức tạp á. Rồi phần get balance này thì mình đã lấy xong get balance này, rồi sau đó là mình sẽ assert thôi. Assert equal là có nghĩa là mình mong muốn là contract này á balance là bằng 10 ha. Contract này là bằng 10. Thế à? hơi bị lùi xí. Mình sẽ assert equal new balance là expect là 10 đây. Và tương tự như đối với Alex ấy thì mình sẽ Alex này là sẽ là 90. Đây là mình đã hoàn thành xong được cái phần việc unit test cho cái deposit này. Nó hơi vất vả ha, vì có cái phần liên quan tới đây nữa. Mình chạy thử có đúng không? Rồi nó không work. Deposit 10 get balance của contract account ID left to right 99. 110 luôn không? Mình có set gì không? Mình không set gì cả. Rồi ok, mình nghĩ là để tránh mất thời gian của mọi người thì để mình check lại cái này ha. Chắc mình ok rồi ha. Để cái phần này là mình sẽ update cái migrate này ở ở trên Discord, rồi sau đó mình update lại việc unit test. Ok, chắc là mình chuyển sang phần khác ha. Thử set color trước khi deposit. Em đang nghĩ là mình phải set color ấy, mà cái set color này đúng không ạ? Set color gọi là set sender đấy, chính là account Alex. Rồi chạy thử xem. Không, nó không work. Chưa work. Rồi ok. Joey với chúng mình move on another workshop. Thank you.
Hey, can you hear me?
Hi. Yeah, I can hear you.
Hey, hi, Nino.
Hi.
Please give us 1 minute so that we can prepare for the next session. Yeah, sorry for let you wait. Hi,
No
everyone.
problem. Take your
Yeah,
time.
okay. Okay, hello everyone. So our AMA is also already like come to an end, and now like the next session gonna be like from Nino from the Apillon, and we're gonna learn about like how to build an application, a decentralized application on Polkadot using a simplest developer tool from Apillon. So we're gonna learn that in the next few minutes, and we also have Nino here, which is like a team member of Apillon that help you guys to learn more about Apillon. Yeah.
Hi everyone. I'm just checking, can you hear me and can you see my shared screen? I have slides available.
Yes, I can see your screen.
All right, perfect. So yeah, welcome everyone. My name is Nino and I'm a Chief Product Officer at Apillon. Are my slides still visible, right? Yeah, okay, they are. Before we go forward, Apillon is a Web3 development platform, and we are primarily focused on building on top of Polkadot. And why we started Apillon is simply because development on blockchain can be very tricky. It can, require a lot of resources. You have to learn new tricks. And while at the same time, Web2 technology and Web2 tooling has brought us to the point where it's very easy to deploy either new apps or just develop new apps in Web2. And there's a huge difference between how you develop something for Web3, how you develop something for Web2. And we wanted to make this easier. We wanted to make Apillon the tool that allows you to develop, almost with the same concept as you would in Web2, but with the results in Web3. So we mostly focused on, ease, no new, learning of code, and connecting different solutions which are already out there and just do the heavy lifting on the blockchain part so you don't have to. So from the standpoint of looking at different layers of solutions on blockchain, we like to see ourselves as, the top layer just underneath the application layer. So we are very focused, like straight to the dApp without really configuring and thinking much about the blockchain, but still going directly into services and really quickly getting the results and building dApps which are compatible with Web3. From this standpoint, for those of you who started maybe really early in Web 1, so I personally, I'm old enough to remember the first days of the internet. And at that time, it was very complex to build something until cPanel appeared. So if you ever installed WordPress to some shared hosting or something like that, you probably encountered cPanel. You can, you have these shortcuts where you create MySQL databases, you have FTP accounts, etc. And then fast forward into Web 2, we had Firebase. So you have this, backend as a service, you have database as a service, you have different plugins, and everything is pre-made for you. So you can just think as a front-end developer, hook up via API and immediately start developing. So in Web3, this is where we want to sit. We want to be that tool that simulates what Firebase is doing for Web2, but with Web3 results. So how do we do this? We are offering several paths of how you can build something. So obviously we have APIs. This is the most important path of how you can build something. We have SDKs, very universal, but we also have Flutter SDK. So if you're looking to develop something for mobile and you want to be able to ship your dApp really fast and make it mobile friendly, you can use our Flutter SDK. We also have pre-built solutions. I'm going to show you a little bit what do we see under pre-built solutions. We are also now coming up with a new name for pre-built solutions. We're going to call them simplets, and we're going to dwell a little bit into that later. And besides that, we have, obviously, we hope, a good enough documentation. We have several tutorials and videos that you can check. And obviously, community-driven governance, which is very product-focused. So like if you have an idea, I don't know, Apillon should integrate this, you are able to achieve this over our governance. Why am I mentioning Stripe on this slide? It is because all of the different parachains or blockchains that we are integrating usually require a developer to buy their tokens, because that's how you pay for their services. And this can be very annoying if you are building a dApp, which then starts scaling, your tokens slowly run out. So you have to keep monitoring this bag of tokens, which you're using to pay for the underlying services. And if you're running low, the app might stop working. And then you have to speculate, should I buy more tokens now, where the price is? So it's really unpredictable to scale. That is why Apillon also provides automatic payment for all underlying services, and you basically can operate over very simple credit card subscription or just buying the credits. Besides that, obviously, we're right now at the beginning, actually not at the beginning, but we are offering a very generous freemium plan, which is loaded with credits. So you can build most of your dApps free of charge. And then once you start seriously scaling, and when I say seriously scaling, I'm talking about 5,000 users or more. At that time, you would probably have to buy some credits, but it's very, very cheap. So from this perspective, yeah, we also have the payments covered. So let's touch the most important stuff. What have you built so far? So we have 3 branches available in Apillon. One disclaimer, in this specific slide, I am mentioning few of the services which are coming out in the next month or so. But it's very close to release, so I just included them in so you get the bigger picture where we're going in the next month or two. So on the left side, we have services. Services are targeted towards developers who either want the full stack of our services and want to build the full dApp with us, or you can look at it also as very a la carte, which means like if you need just the storage, you come to Apillon dashboard, you turn on storage, and you can immediately use it. Now, what is behind every specific service? So if you look at the Web3 storage and Web3 hosting, what Apillon does here, we basically connect to the Crust network. So for those of you who are familiar, Crust network is IPFS pinning service. So whatever you push to Crust, it gets pinned on IPFS. You also have several clones of those files, and these files are available in a decentralized space. So if you use, so let's say you're building a dApp which needs some sort of storage, what you can do is you go to Apillon dashboard, you turn on this service, you create a bucket like you would on S3, you get API, and you can immediately start pushing those files. What we will do, on the other hand, is then, tackle the blockchain part. We'll push the file to Crust, we'll pay for this file storage with Crust tokens, we'll make sure the file is pinned, we'll handle the RPC, we'll do everything. You will just get the list of files and you can immediately start serving them. We also have our own IPFS gateway or custom IPFS gateways with load balancers. So we are quite strong on the storage part. Web3 hosting, again, very similar. We also utilize Crust with the difference that with Web3 hosting, you can host your static websites, React websites, Vue websites, even Next.js websites over API. You can also use drag and drop. We also support custom domains. We also support free SSL, so your website will be HTTPS and it will work out of the box. So these two are derived from Crust. When we come to Web3 identity service, this one is derived from Kilt parachain. Kilt parachain deals with decentralized identifiers. So you are able to, if you utilize our API and our SDK, what you are able to do is create a sign-up service where user enters email. Once the email is confirmed, a DID is issued for this user. And this DID can be used for user to log in, not only on Apillon, but basically anywhere where this is accepted. So again, we do the heavy lifting on the Kilt side. You just connect with your API and you can immediately start working with that. When we come to Web3 compute, here we're utilizing Phala in the background. So again, for those who are not familiar, Phala is a Polkadot parachain where they're doing TEE, so Trusted Execution Environment Compute. And you can do either Node.js deployments or you can write fat contracts in Rust, and this will get executed. So this can simulate your backend, and you can even decentralize backend by utilizing Web3 compute. One of the newest features that we have coming is embedded wallets. I think this is one of the best features, or I would say this will probably be one of the most popular features we're releasing, And we've built this together with Oasis. So Oasis is not Polkadot chain; they're their own separate chain. But what they are very specific at is that all of their nodes are running on TEE, and you are able to basically encrypt private keys within Oasis without exposure, which literally means that user can get their own wallet, basically public and private key, and encrypt it by using their passkey on the phone. So imagine you can now, if you use embedded wallets in your dApp, user will say, I need a new account. They will put up their fingerprint, and this will immediately go to Oasis, which will require a new account on Polkadot. This will get encrypted using passkey from the user, and each time user logs in, the path is the same. What I'm trying to say with this essentially is there are no mnemonics or private keys in this flow. User does not have to understand this or store this, and still it provides the same security level as MetaMask. Maybe at this point, if someone has any question, I don't know how you typically deal with the questions, but yeah, I would like to offer ability for someone to ask something. And maybe Chase, if you see this somewhere popping up, please let me know, or just stop me and I will gladly answer. So yeah, and then if we go further, of course, we'll also support RPCs. This is coming in a few weeks. We already have NFT metadata hosting, which is also derived from Crust. We have ability to create meme coins. We have ability to create assets on Asset Hub, and we are also adding indexers. So on the left side, we're trying to give all the services you might need for your dApp to make sense and to work. On the right side, we have simplets, which are abstraction over an abstraction. So what we do here is you basically get a pre-written Docker image, which is open sourced. You can just take this Docker image and you will get a specific use case after you deploy it already there. So imagine you're going to a conference, you want to run your POAP there, so proof of attendance NFTs. What you do is you go to Apillon, you deploy an NFT collection, and I will quickly show you in the demo time how this looks like. And then you deploy this Docker image, and you will immediately get two websites. One website will be for scanning the QR codes, and the other will be where users claim these NFTs free of charge. So basically, gas is also covered in this whole package. And the other simplets are also very use case specific, and it's very true for them that they are Docker images, open source, that you can deploy to your own infrastructure. And then the final branch are the smart contracts. So we allow typical audited smart contracts to be deployed. By the way, here we are supporting chains as Moonbeam, Astar. For NFTs, we also support Remark Standard, and we also are adding support for Unique. So Unique is a parachain who does NFTs over pallets. So this is our current offering, or our offering within a month or two. And now it's time for me to show you a little bit how this looks like. So now we are within Apillon dashboard. So if you create an account and you log in, you will receive, I think, 1,200 free credits. And what you are able then to do is basically use any of these services, and credits get deduced as you are using them. So if we are now in the storage part, what you can do is just simply create a bucket like you would an S3. And for example, I already have a bucket created here. So we'll now see the files as they get loaded. So I have, different files, either they're videos, or I have, some temporary files, some music, and all of these files also come with a CID. So this is a CID which takes you to the IPFS. So you can load this CID over any gateway. And also what you get is URL which serves this file over our own gateway. Now what I can do is basically click upload and upload these files over upload any file over a UI. So this is how it looks like. And now this file, as it's, was uploaded to Apillon, now we will start the pinning process, right? So here you will see different statuses as this file is going through the pinning on the trust, as we are paying for this transaction, etc., etc. And once this is done, the file CID and the download link will appear. Now you can achieve the same functionality over our SDK or API. So you can implement this into your dApp. Let's say you're building Instagram. Each time user takes a photo, you're uploading it to your storage bucket, right? With hosting, I have a website hosted, I think here. It doesn't really matter, but what you can do is, again, upload the full static website. So you can here see I have a static website already uploaded. Once it's uploaded, you can go to a preview. So preview, the difference between preview and production is that preview doesn't necessarily go to crust pinning. So this allows you to deploy, see how this looks like, and once you're happy, you push it to production. Now with hosting, we also have GitHub Actions ready, which means that as you are deploying your new version to GitHub, GitHub Action can immediately spin up and it gets automatically deployed via API to your hosting. So you can automate this in your CI process. And on the production tab, obviously we have a domain, which you can configure. And these are the DNS records that you have to set. So what is important here, if you build a dApp or if you have a website that you want to serve in a decentralized way, you can go to the to Apillon and just go straight to hosting and do it here. Now for the NFTs, which are the basis for all of our pre-built solutions, and I'm not gonna go through every single one. I'm gonna just show the NFTs and then give you a little bit of rest. But this is how you create an NFT collection. It's basically just by clicking. Again, you can do this over CLI as well, but with the wizard or with the help of UI, this is how it looks like. So you have option to go to Moonbase, Moonbeam, or Astar. Soon you will have an ability to also deploy to Unique. And let's say we're now deploying to Moonbase, right? To testnet. What you can do is essentially choose one of the images as your collection logo. You can choose an image for your cover photo. Then obviously the collection needs a name and a symbol. And then what you can choose is either generic or nestable. Now, nestable is a remark standard. If you're interested in this, you need to maybe read a little bit more on the question. But essentially what this allows is NFT to own other NFTs. Now, this is very, very helpful if you're building a game, right? So you have a character, which is an NFT, and every item that you equip to this character is also an NFT. So a main character NFT then owns other NFTs. And this is possible if you select nestable collection type. All right, so if we proceed now, now we can do the, now we can set the collection behavior. So we can define the supply, we can set the royalties, we can set the royalties fees, we can choose if they're soulbound or not, if they're revocable or not. And you can also define drop, which means you can pre-reserve some of the NFTs for yourself and mint them within our dashboard. But I'm gonna keep this very simple and say like, this is it. I don't want revocable, I don't want soulbound. Let's just proceed, right? So this is now the preview of this collection. And what's gonna happen is 1 credit will get deduced from my total amount. So it's very cheap to deploy the collection to testnet. It's basically free. So we set the minimum on 1 credit. So what is happening now is everything I configured for this specific collection, we have built a smart contract in the background, and we are already deploying the smart contract to the chain. Now we have, from here, we have 2 options. We can go and build NFTs one by one, or we can do them in bulk. So I'm gonna show you the bulk situation, which is obviously done from a CSV file. So if you're working with thousands of NFTs, you prepare a typical CSV file. If you don't know how to do it, you can download the CSV example. So if you download this CSV example and open it in Excel or any other spreadsheet, you will be able to, prepare the data, which is then compatible with Apillon. And I will now proceed. So in this CSV file, I have additional attributes, which I'm going to confirm. And now the only missing thing is I need to give, some images. So here are the images I have prepared. You can all guess that I made these images with help of AI. But it doesn't really matter. I'm gonna, preview this. So what happens here is we have this neat little preview where you can still tweak something, right? So you see an NFT, you see its name and description, and you can see also the attributes or traits, as some people call it. And you can also obviously remove this. And we also have another preview, right? So you can see all of them at the same time. So as I'm now clicked create NFTs, two things are now happening. As I said before, we have made ready the smart contract, which is getting deployed. But also what's going to happen is we will automatically create a new bucket where we will put all the metadata. So we are automatically putting the metadata to decentralized storage. You don't have to do this manually, and we're going to automatically deploy the smart contract. And these NFTs, so this collection will immediately become available. Now, there is a slight difference between, creating a collection on OpenSea or creating a collection with Apillon. Once you have collection deployed over Apillon, you will receive an open sourced React.js or Vue.js template. It's basically a front-end code which is able then to host your collection and allow anyone to mint your NFTs. So what you do with that template is basically you take it to hosting and you drag and drop it here, and your website will immediately start to work. So this is how we are connecting different services on Apillon and trying to find synergies between them and trying to make this as simple as possible. So now going forward to pre-built solutions or simplets, as I mentioned before, let's say you want to do the POAPs, like I mentioned before. So for POAPs, you will receive this Docker image, which is split into backend and frontend, and you can deploy it to your own infrastructure. And what you get is basically this NFT collection that we created here will automatically get deployed and able to mint in this proof of attendance, right? Why we are packing this into Docker images and why we're open sourcing this is because we want to give you ability to go into the front end and just change the design. Maybe if you're working for Nike, obviously you will want to change how this design looks. Maybe you will want to implement, some tasks for the user, and once they finish the task, they are able to mint, etc. So this is kind of the logic we're trying to set with Apple. So coming from an extensive experience with hosting different hackathons. So this is not the first hackathon that we are hosting or co-hosting or participating in. I have a really good case of a winner of one of our previous hackathons. And what this user did was they built WeTransfer clone. So for those of you who are not familiar with WeTransfer, it's a very simple Web2 service which allows you to, upload a file and choose who are you emailing this file to. So if you want to share a bigger file with someone and you cannot do it over, Slack or chat, what you can do in WeTransfer is upload this file and then send it to someone. So this winner of file fusion, essentially, what they did is they utilized almost all of our services to enable this. Obviously, so this person started with the storage, enabled the bucket, and enabled saving to this bucket over API. They included the authentication of Kilt, so it's like an OAuth integration. They're also using computing over NFTs to encrypt those files. So I will share this video with you guys. I know that it's probably not the best to view it over the shared screen, but if we go really quickly over it, you can see this is the login with Kilt. So this is our authentication service. And as the user is logged in, what they can do is go to storage mode. They can choose a file and upload this specific file. And what happens next is there's a link, right? So now you can copy this link, send it to someone, and the file is here. The secondary option they've built is transfer mode. So now you can not just upload the file, but also target the email, and this email will receive a link, right? So there's an email SMTP service also included in this hack. And yeah, we can see the email was delivered. Hey, you have a new file. When you click download file, the file is downloaded. And if we go even further, what this solution does here is it provides authorization for a specific file over a wallet and a specific NFT. So if you created an NFT collection manually, just like I did before, what we're doing over compute here, we have this Schrodinger's NFT solution, which basically encrypts all files using an NFT. So if you have this NFT in your wallet, you can unlock this file. If you don't, you cannot. If you send this NFT to someone else, well, then they can unlock this file. So what I'm trying to say is this case or this specific solution was very cool because they came up with a product that walks all across our services, has this static website, which is then also can be hosted from Apillon, and it's providing a pure Web3 service. So I'm trying to give you, some sort of inspiration or kind of connect everything together so you understand better how we envisioned Apillon to be used. There is also, so this is how the website looks like. So we could essentially also test this. But yeah, so this is how one of our hackathon winners approached building on Apillon. Let me see what else can I mention. Okay, so the last service, which I still didn't touch, is social. And this one is derived from Subsocial. So if you are familiar with Subsocial and their grill chat, what you can do in Apillon is essentially immediately deploy, just by clicking, a hub and a channel, and we will give you immediately the installation and the code tag that you include in your dApp or in your front end. And this is how it will look like. The chat will look like this. And users will essentially have ability to log in with Grill or just continue anonymously. So if you continue anonymously, in the actual implementation, you're still able to send messages. So these integrations of chat are very welcoming for, if you want to have chat on your website, or maybe you have a dApp which is already finished and you just want to enable decentralized chat for your dApp, you come to our social service, you enable this service, and you just integrate it within minutes. So this is the last service we have. Essentially, working on Apillon happens over projects, so you can have several projects. Each project has its own credits, and what you can also do is appoint access to other users, right? So if you want to work with someone else and share the APIs, you can do so, and you can also give them minimal roles of admin and a user. To start building, you go to API keys, you generate new keys, and we have different services, wallets, contracts that you can enable API access to. Before we conclude this, I would like to also point out our wiki page where you will get all the examples. So concretely for storage API, you can, list the buckets, you can create new bucket, upload to new bucket and upload session, see what the content is, list files from this bucket. For example, this is how storage works. We also support IPNS. For those of you who are familiar with this, yes, we do have it. Just check our docs and it will make your life much easier. And then again, NFTs API, getting collection, listing collections, listing transactions, everything is here. You can also find the SDK with the examples, and of course our CLI. So how you can utilize the CLI to make your life easier. This is also very important from this, standpoint of how do you build. Hopefully you will find everything you need within our docs. For the last few pieces of information, I'm gonna share these slides with you guys so you have access to API, SDK, and documentation links. And at the end of the day, maybe it's valuable also to mention how you approach this, right? So within Hackathon, what you do is decide what you are building, you configure a specific service, you receive APIs and secrets, and then you have two options. You can either run your own backend, which can also be centralized. A lot of features or projects today are in a hybrid mode where some of the pieces are centralized just because it's faster that way, or it's impossible still to build a fully decentralized backend. But what you can also do is basically do a lot of API calls from the client side for the hackathon purposes, because in the hackathon, you want to showcase a product and how you're thinking. You don't necessarily have to hide the API secrets from the product you're building, right? If you would turn that into a service, well, then you would need your own backend, because obviously you cannot include API secrets or key secrets on the client side, because then anyone can steal them. So yeah, once you have your DApp idea, you go over our services and you try to figure out the architecture of how you would build this. If you need authentication, you can work with Kilt DIDs, storage and hosting we already mentioned. On Fala, you can simulate some sort of backend and deploy that. We also have an open sourced case on our GitHub of how we are doing this file encryption with the help of NFTs, which you can dig a little bit deeper. And we also have simplets, which I mentioned, and are all packaged in Docker images, and you can immediately start using them. Now, most importantly, because I cannot, in this 45 minutes, or I cannot tell you really everything, is the fact that we do have a Discord. And if you will come to Discord and just mention, I'm coming from this hackathon, we will help you, we will review your code, we will give you advice. So please don't hesitate to contact us, and we can help you also with maybe enabling some of the new features such as embedded wallets, because we do have a beta role available in our program, so we could enable some of the new features for you over the beta role. So yeah, this is it from my side. I don't know how it's usually done here. If you guys have any questions, I would be really happy to answer them. Thank you very much for listening.
That's an awesome presentation, and thank you a lot for all the resources, and also your amazing presentation about Apillon. I also learned a lot from that. That's an amazing tool, to be honest. So I think that one topic that many builders are gonna be interested in is about the cost. because like you software as a service, right? So like the like if the builder use the service to build the application, then can you like break down the cost of it so that they can apply to build the application more efficiently?
Yes. First of all, what I can also say is if anyone here is at any point, feels like they ran out of credits and they feel they would need more, just reach out. We'll make sure you have enough credits. We are supporting hackathons, not just by coming here, speaking, and giving support, but we will also give you credits, and you will be able to build and host your service on the production for at least a year. I can also say that this file fusion, we will turn it into a service. We are already working on that. So this is not a project that we will leave there to collect dust, but we will turn it into a service and unlock this decentralized WeTransfer for everyone. So we want to be able to take the products that were built in the hackathon and host them, and we'll also sponsor the file transfers. But otherwise, there is a price list of how much something costs with Apillon. So you will get 1,200 credits, and creating one collection will cost you 500, and then every NFT 2 credits. So if you go to billing and usage and you check price list, we have pricing for every single thing you can do. So yeah, this is how pricing looks like. Essentially, if you run out of credits, just contact either Chase or someone from the OpenGuild, or directly me on Discord, and I will make sure you have enough credits to work with. And I can also mention this neat little thing. If you are running low with credits, I have the limit set at 200. You can change this to a lower value or a higher, and you will have a notification once you're running low. So yeah, essentially this is how the pricing is handled, and you can also see the transactions of what I did today. So when we deployed the smart contract before on Moonbase testnet, 1 credit was deducted. So you can also see very transparently how the credits are spent. So yeah, this is regarding the pricing.
Great. Yeah, thank you for your answer. Personally, I have my own question as well. So like, I'm interested about the meme coin, the asset creations. What is the
Yes.
difference between like using Polkadot JS apps with this feature from Apillon?
Yeah, so how we usually tackle stuff, and you can see this from my demo, is that we're trying to make stuff as simple as possible. So when we are talking about meme coin creation, what this means is essentially you will have one form with minimum data that you have to input, and as you press deploy, it's going to get deployed. It's going to go to the target chain. Right now, like I said, we have EVM chains like Moonbeam Astar. We also support Wasm and Astar, and yeah, this is where you will be able to create that. And also we'll have a asset hub, which is a Polkadot common good chain, where you will also be able to create an asset simply by clicking. So again, no thinking about the chain, just filling out the form, pressing a button, it gets deployed, and you can always appoint your own wallet as an owner of this asset. So this is maybe one important thing I didn't mention. Even though Apillon does a lot of stuff, how to say, from our own end, right? And this collection, which I deployed before, was actually deployed over Apillon's wallet. But what you can always do as a user is go into this collection and say transfer ownership, and just input your own wallet. And what's going to happen is you will become essentially an owner of this collection. And then you can even move away of Apillon and use it anywhere you want. But keep in mind that yes, for some specific deployments, we do the deployment instead of a user, but we always give the ability to transfer ownership. And this is coming more or less from the fact that you could not deploy something to Moonbeam as a user if you don't have Glimmer tokens. But we always have Glimmer tokens. That's why we deploy this over our own wallet and then give you ability to take ownership at any point in time.
That's a smart design. So I think like there's a one question related to like IPFS. So maybe like
Yes.
can you like we have time like maybe like can you like quick go through like any like some kind of features related to like IPFS on Apillon right now? I remember like you also like show us like IBNS, right? And also like
Yes.
a demo apply like IPFS into like
Yes.
building like the factory. So yeah.
Yeah, so it's very simple. So in the situation of, let's say, so I'm gonna try to find some cool example. Let's say I have this folder with fishing videos, right? And I have this, let's say we're looking at this specific file, gx013874.mp4. If I re-upload this same file to IPFS, is not able to replace the file, right? So what's going to happen is I'm going to have two instances of this file and different CIDs, because this is just how IPFS works. And this becomes very tricky if you want to have a website on IPFS and you want your domain to point to a specific to a target file on the IPFS. So for these cases, what we do, or what you can do, on your own, you can create IPNS. So it's essentially a name service. It's like a DNS, which means you will get a folder, and whatever happens in this folder will obviously change, but the folder target will always remain the same. And this is how IPNS enables hosting on IPFS. Essentially, IPNS is like, so if IPFS is interplanetary file system, IPNS is interplanetary name system, right? So it's just the naming, and this kind of fixes this IPFS characteristic of always changing the CIDs, right? So this is what IPNS is used for, and yeah, that's how you use it. Now, IPNS is also used in when you are deploying metadata, right? So if we look at the bucket, which was automatically created upon creating NFT collection, you have two folders. One is metadata folder and one is images folder. And if we look into metadata folder, you can see that for every single image, automatically we create JSON files. And these JSON files are typically and very standardized, standardly written. And because above this folder, so this folder actually has IPNS enabled, this means your collection can be dynamic. You can change the metadata and the NFT will still work. So this is what IPNS gives you in this specific case, right? It automatically enables dynamic NFT collections.
I see. So about the image of the NFT, will it be like automatically uploaded on IPFS, or you can like identify the link of the image?
So if you go and you deploy NFT collection like I did before, so if you go through this functionality, new NFT collection, and you choose yes, proceed, which means prepare NFT metadata, right? So here we ask you to ensure permanent access to NFTs. You need to store their metadata files on the web. Would you like to store NFT metadata in a decentralized way? If you say yes, whatever you're gonna upload during this session, we're gonna take and automatically create this bucket and put metadata files like this inside. So these files, JSON files, were created by me uploading a CSV file. So we do this in the background automatically. What the second folder is, they're the images actually, right? So these are the pictures, right? So these are the pictures. If we look at the download link, this is the download link. And as you can see, this was loaded immediately because this is our IPFS gateway. web3approved.com is our domain, and this is our IPFS gateway. And we also have an access token so that not everyone can write on our IPFS gateway. That's why it's really fast. But the second option you have is if you press I already have it online. So for example, let's say you deployed an NFT collection, 1 year ago, and you have the metadata ready, and you don't want to use this automatic thing from the Apillon and our storage, etc. You can just say I already have it online. And in this case, we will ask you for the base URI, right? So this is the link where your collection metadata already exists. And then you can, again, proceed to create this collection just like you would, with the difference that you're not uploading the CSV file and the images. I hope I answered the question.
That's a very clear walkthrough. There's one question from the audience. So do you support OAuth for authentication service? Is this a custodial wallet and there is support KYC? That's a question, and that's also like our last question. Yeah.
Okay, so in the POAPs, you do not need, essentially, you don't need anything because our POAP pre-built solution is calibrated for a user who doesn't have a wallet. So within this package, within this Docker, what you can do is tell a user, scan this QR code, and they will land on a website, and they enter their email, right? So we adjusted this for users who know nothing about Web3. And what happens is, as they enter their email, we will reserve an NFT for that specific email. And we will automatically send them instructions and say, install this wallet, click this link, and go and mint your NFT. And once they have all this, they will click on the link on the website, enter their email, will figure out that this email has specific NFT reserved. They will connect the wallet and will mint the NFT without user having to pay for gas, essentially. So right now, POAPs are, and all the pre-built solutions are calibrated to this, where users do the reservation over their email. But as we will release embedded wallets, we will update all the Docker images with embedded wallets. So user will essentially just click connect, put their fingerprint on the passkey, and the wallet will get generated. So yeah, this update is coming. But regarding the question of KYC, we do not have the KYC available. If you would use our authentication service, which comes from Kilt, you could rely on Deloitte KYC. So Deloitte is working together with Kilt and with Polymec, and they are issuing Kilt DIDs. So essentially, you could build a service that accepts those Deloitte KYC DIDs and have users who are coming into your dApp be 100% KYC'd by Deloitte, which is one of the big three global, not just legal companies, but also KYC providers.
Thank you for that great information. And I also like hope that it can answer your question, Leo. Okay, so we're already like an hour from like the beginning of the workshop, and we really appreciate Nino, for you coming to our workshop and give us a very useful presentation for all the hackathon builders of the OpenGuild hackathon. And guys, Apillon is one of the track of our hackathon. In the upcoming hackathon, right now there's still bootcamp, but yeah, in the upcoming hackathon, Apillon is one of our track, and feel free to revise this video, this very useful video from Nino, so that you can apply this amazing technology into your product and then nail the hackathon. If anyone have any questions, feel free to send into OpenGuild Discord. We're gonna send that to the Apillon team to help you demystify that. And also, yeah, thank you, Nino, again for coming to our hackathon, to our workshop.
Thank,
And,
thank you for hosting. I also joined the Discord, so you will find me in OpenGuild community Discord as Nino. Just look for me and feel free to DM me. Yeah, I will prepare a package of different videos. We have several tutorials as well, and I'm gonna share that package with the organizers to deploy to you guys.
Awesome. All right. Oh, okay, guys. Please give a big applause to our special guest, and also also a wrap up for our workshop today. See you guys in the next workshop. Yeah. Thank you, Nino.
Thank you. Cheers.